Hi, Professor Pearson. How's it going?
How's it going, Professor McGraw? You look so tan.
Oh, why, thank you. Yeah, I had this nice, relaxing summer, and then I came back to campus, and, English redesign is still up in the air. It's complete chaos. I know we're running all these pilots this semester with the different companies, but, I wanted to come and talk to you for a moment because I know that we're piloting 2 different companies, and these publishers' representatives keep throwing around this word adaptive, and it's adaptive this, adaptive that. I don't even really know what adaptive means.
It's funny you bring that up because I was just meeting with my Pearson rep the other day and I asked her point blank, what do you mean when you say adaptive? And she had a really interesting response. You know when you go to Amazon.com and you're making your selections and then you go back to that page again, like your second visit, what happens?
Well, it makes recommendations based upon my previous choices, and then I give the system feedback as to whether or not I think it's a good recommendation or a bad recommendation, and it sort of modifies to what it thinks my future wants and needs would be.
Exactly, and that's what my rep explained that Pearson has. It's this new product that uses Newton, which actually adapts to the student's needs. It makes recommendations like you were just talking about and gives them this personalized learning path for them to work on areas that they need to work on. So let me just show you this video. I think it'll help explain it a lot better.
In the past, your textbook followed a linear path, forcing all students to study the same materials in the same order, regardless of how prepared they were. This is a knowledge graph. Newton works with subject matter experts, teachers, and textbook authors to develop these graphs that show the relationships between different learning objectives in a textbook or course. If you use MyLabs with Newton Adaptive Learning, a knowledge graph already comes with your course. It's the foundation of the continuously adaptive Newton recommendations, one way Pearson is helping to personalize the learning experience for students. Here's how it works. When creating your course, make sure that Newton recommendations are enabled. The required content area assessment is the path builder for the students. This ensures that Newton can identify the individual gaps in knowledge for every student and give the best personalized recommendations. Creating due dates for homework and quizzes will help the Newton recommendations focus your students towards their next upcoming assignments. After students complete their Path Builder assessments and begin working through the material, Newton will track their understanding of the topics in the course and make real-time recommendations on what each student should work on next. Each time they complete a module, Newton takes that new data and recalculates the student's ideal path. This is the continuous adaptivity at work. The new recommendation is always available on the learning path, along with several other secondary recommendations. All of the modules in the course are accessible at any time as well. If a student struggles to grasp a concept, the recommendation will back them up to a prerequisite topic to cement fundamentals. On the other hand, if a student is doing well and mastering modules, as we can see with this student here, the learning path will often recommend those related objectives on which they are best prepared to succeed. Students will continue to progress through the knowledge graph, practicing and mastering more advanced concepts, but will only be recommended concepts on which they've mastered the prerequisites. As due dates for assignments approach, the learning path will also prioritize those concepts covered on that assignment. Recommendations will focus on filling in any gaps in the student's knowledge, ensuring that students are well prepared for upcoming tests and quizzes. In the gradebook, you can see how each student is doing on their learning path, exactly what each student has mastered, and what they're recommended next, thereby keeping tabs on their progress through the course. MyLabs with Newton Adaptive Learning serves as a personalized tutor for each student, reinforcing important concepts in real time. Instructors still have control over how their class progresses, while remaining confident that students are getting the personalized help they need along the way.
Well, that looked so awesome, Professor Pearson. But what is the benefit of adaptive learning?
See, I knew you'd like that video. Well, just think about it. If you were a personal tutor who watched a student work on an assignment, you'd notice mistakes, you'd make suggestions for that student to work on, right?
Yeah.
So some topics might be on par with that assignment, others might be prerequisite skills that that student should have already known. So this is what the whole adaptive study plan in the Pearson MyLab does. It does it in a way that's scalable for all students across all sections of the course.
Well, that's great.
So tell me about how it really compares to what you're using.
You know, it's funny, like the product I'm piloting also has adaptive technology, but I've noticed some serious issues with it. One of my biggest problems that I have is that I can't view the questions that my students are going to be using for remediation. I asked my rep to show me the questions so that I can quality check them, and he wasn't able to show me any of the questions that were within their adaptive technology. And then another huge issue I ended up having was that, every time that they wanted to use the adaptive program, it actually linked out into a separate screen. So the adaptive technology was not communicating with my normal questions within my lab. They were like two separate programs.
Yeah, that's frustrating. Well, the nice thing about the Pearson My Lab is it's a complete personalized learning. It actually is personalized homework and then that personalized path builder too, so in the diagnostic as well.
Yeah, my program had a separate assignment type. It worked in complete isolation from my personal assignments. And it was also really frustrating because it only remediated within that particular chapter. It wasn't remediating throughout the entirety of the course.
Well, the great thing about the Pearson My Labs that I really like is that it integrates adaptive learning regardless of the course setup. So it's in the instructor assignments or even if the students are studying on their own.
And does it also flow into the reporting capabilities? Because those are very important to me.
Yeah, you can actually drill all the way down to the objective level to see how your students are doing.
Well, that sounds perfect. And so, we're going to have to make a decision for English redesign. And the way I kind of see it is this: if both products already have adaptive technology, that the Pearson one seems to be like the whole package. It's like buying a car. I mean, both companies already have GPS systems, but the Pearson has everything else that goes with it.
It's a luxury car, and that's what really impressed me with this product. I haven't seen anything else out there that can actually remediate on the entire course content like Pearson's My Lab can.
Well, it seems then that, Pearson's going to be the way to go.
I agree.